It's a convoluted story, to be honest.
Most land access disputes could be called convoluted in their simplest form. It always seems to go the same way. Different groups with opposing agendas and ideas beat each other up over possible closures for years at a time until some sort of limited compromise is reached. At that point, the issue is put to rest, and both sides can move on while whatever plans were laid can be implemented on the ground, and the public can enjoy the land with whatever new restrictions are in place. You would hope the story ended there, but it rarely does. Even now, that scenario is playing itself out on the face of Utah's public lands, with a decade of research and planning potentially on the chopping block.
You go back in 2001, in Utah, we started some resource management plans for the Bureau of Land Management throughout the state. There were 6 of those.
Resource management plan is similar to a county development plan. Public lands are zoned into what's appropriate and what's not. Some areas will be zoned appropriate for motorized vehicles, some non-motorized.
I was on the Resource Advisory Council of the BLM for 6 of those years, and I know the process we went through, how long it was, how we jumped through every hoop we needed to, and then the word came as they were signed and the new administration took over that they were rushed through at the last minute by the Bush administration. Well, if 7 years is rushing it through, then we're talking geological time. It's not the case. I mean, they were well thought out, they were well worked out, and now they're being negotiated to be changed.
Before the ink was dry on that agreement, the Southern Utah Wilderness Alliance and several other radical environmental groups decided to add claims to that lawsuit and decided they wanted the BLM to throw out 10 years of planning and close even more roads and trails. We've reviewed the claims and it's very dangerous, really.
According to Commissioner Gordon Topham, if the groups responsible for the lawsuit are meeting with the BLM, those meetings are going around stipulations in the Federal Lands Policy Management Act that lists states and counties as stakeholders, not private organizations.
It's absolutely a violation of FLTMA, because FLTMA says that federal government must be consistent with state and local plans. We're extremely concerned. UNT County has filed a lawsuit. We want to ensure that our resource management plans are abided by, and we want to ensure that the Wilderness Settlement Agreement that was signed in 2003 with the state of Utah and BLM is fully adhered to.
If just environmental organizations are sitting and advising one of the federal agencies, that's wrong. That's very wrong. And I don't know that that's happening, but it sure seems like that's what's going on right now.
That fear is shared by other public land advocates as well, particularly those who worked on the original RMPs and feel they are correct and valid. Utah Director of the Bureau of Land Management, Juan Palma, wants to avoid any unnecessary speculation, however. While he confirms settlement talks with plaintiffs of the lawsuit are underway, that by no means will require a redo on the current resource management plans.
I realize that some of the viewers may have some concerns about discussions that we're having with plaintiffs about possible litigation settlement talks. But I want to be very clear. Bob, Abby, and I are pretty firm that our resource management plans, our RMPs, will be in place and should be in place. So those are the conversations that we're having. I cannot comment on the specifics of the talks, but it definitely, again, is very premature for us to come to any conclusion that the RMP is going to be thrown out. That's not the case at all, and that's what I can comment on at this moment in time.
So we don't really know what the status is on settlement negotiations. That's pretty concerning for us.
The story may seem familiar when compared to other public land use battles, but in this case, years of public comment, planning, research, and collaboration could be lost. Going back to square one is a possibility few, outside the groups that initiated the lawsuit, are hoping for.
As we went through this process on these resource management plans, did we get everything we wanted? Absolutely not. We didn't. But we got what we felt like we could live with. And those that had stronger environmental concerns, they didn't get everything they wanted either. And I guess they can't live with what's there. I hope this is just a rumor that isn't true, but my gut tells me different.
The question, well, what if they get what they want this time? Will they ask for more again? I think the answer to that is you can bet on it. You know, at some point you ask yourself, well, you know, we could be compromised into extinction if this proceeds much further.
From the Trailhead, I'm Bob Hendricks.